What's up, guys? My name's Skylar. I'm the founder of a retention agency called Influx Labs, and today I'm going to show you the only 6 segments that you need to use on your email list to start sending out emails and seeing major results with your email marketing strategy. And this is only going to take about 10 minutes, so get a notepad out and let's get into it. Most email marketing agencies and gurus that you will hear talk about segmenting severely overcomplicates it, so I'm going to simplify it here just by giving you kind of a general overview of the difference between an email list and a segment and why segmentation is important on your email list before you send out campaigns. So an email list is a static collection of people's email addresses. So essentially, a list is added to manually when you upload kind of prospects' emails, or it can also be joined when people sign up through a form on your website. But a list is a static list, like a sheet, of email addresses. An email segment, on the other hand, is defined by a set of conditions rather than a fixed list of people. So basically, an email segment is dynamic and it will grow as new people meet the conditions that you set for this segment, and it will shrink as people no longer fit these conditions. So the difference between an email list and an email segment is the dynamic aspect of a segment that allows you to put in a list of conditions, and the people that fit it will be into the segment. People that don't fit it will not be in the segment. The way that list growth actually works, what will happen is people will join your email list when they enter their email on a form on your website. And once they are actually on your list, it is then your job to filter these people into segments by specific conditions. The reason you want to put these people into segments is so that you can tailor your emails to their specific wants and needs, right? These segments are going to be full of people that meet very specific conditions based on how they've interacted with your brand, what they've purchased, and just generally who they are, where they're located, etc. So instead of just using a static list full of anybody and everybody, you're going to actually hone down your messaging by using very specific segments. So these are the 6 main segments that we use for e-com brands, and almost everything else that you're gonna see is just noise and unnecessary and an afterthought. So what you're gonna do is set up these 6 exact segments, and you're going to be able to start sending emails and have them be way more successful than if you were sending to your entire list. There are 6 main segments that we use for e-com brands and that have generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for our clients. Almost everything else that you hear about, every other very specific segment, is unnecessary until you have these 6 segments set up. So what you're gonna do is set up these 6 segments exactly as I'm about to go over them. And from there, you will be able to immediately start sending emails to these segments and seeing better results and more conversions than if you were to just send to your entire list. Segment 1, the Engaged segment. This is going to be the most important segment that you set up in your entire email marketing strategy. And this will actually be the segment that you're going to send, 95% of your email campaigns to. And this is why. So the Engaged segment consists of people on your list who are the most engaged. So what that means is that these are people who have opened an email at least once in the last 60 days, clicked at least once in the last 60 days, active on site at least once in the last 60 days, or placed order at least once in the last 60 days, and they are not suppressed for email. So basically, this is everyone on your list who has been interacting with your brand in this period of time. And so because of that, these are going to be the people who are most likely to open your emails, engage with them, and ultimately want to purchase from them because they're already engaged, familiar with your brand, and they've shown interest. So because of this, this is going to be the segment that we're going to send the majority of campaigns to, unless you want to get a little bit more specific, and we will talk about that in the later segments. But this is the key one to have set up, by far the most important segment that you can have to send campaigns to. So make sure you get it set up. So you can either set up a 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day engaged. You can even do an 120-day engaged depending on, how often you send emails. But generally, we will send to a 30 and a 60-day engaged segment with these exact settings so that we can weed out the people who are not engaged and make sure that these emails are staying out of spam because people are interacting with them, and these people generally have a better chance of buying. So set up this exact segment with these exact settings. feel free to screenshot it, write it down, whatever the case may be. This is going to be the engaged segment. And then if you want to change it to a 30, 90, or 120 day engaged, you would simply edit the days at the end here. So that is segment number 1 and the most important segment to have set up for your campaigns. Segment number 2 is called the VIP segment, and this is a segment specifically for your high value VIP members. So depending on your brand, this may be determined by number of orders, total order value, frequency of order, or by whatever metric you consider a customer of yours to be a VIP. So we usually use this for, specific emails and discounts to make these people on our VIP segment, the people who are our most valuable customers, feel like they are valued and feel like they belong to an exclusive group. So what we'll do is we'll send them, VIP only promos, early access, on product drops and things like this, so that they can have kind of exclusive offers to reward them for actually being VIP members. So the way that we'll set this up is just like this. So depending on what someone has done, right, if they've placed an order 3 times in the last 120 days, then we would consider them a VIP. Again, this could vary for your brand. So it could be something like what someone has or has not done, order value equals, $500, and you could consider them a VIP. But generally what we'll do is number of orders placed over a period of time is kind of how we'll think about our VIP segment. But it's very important to have the VIP segment set up so that you can reward multiple time buyers. So make sure that you get this one done. Segment 3 is so self-explanatory that we only need to spend a few seconds on it, but it is the not suppressed segment. So this will just consist of every single person on your email list that can actually receive emails. So it's important to know who you can actually send emails to. So just having kind of a master segment full of everybody that can receive emails is important. So make sure you have this set up for clarity's sake. Segment number 4 is the most important segment that you can have for having good email deliverability. Here's why. Poor deliverability for your emails is often caused by sending to dead profiles. So what this means is if these profiles are unengaged, that means they aren't opening any emails, and this can cause the email system to actually think that you are sending spam because there aren't any real humans actually interacting with your emails, or there are a large amount of them, that don't interact. So when this happens, your deliverability is harmed. So what you want to do is actually make an engaged segment. Segment number 4 can actually make or break your email deliverability, and here's why. So poor deliverability is often caused by sending to dead or inactive profiles. The reason why is because when you send emails out, what the email system is looking for is whether or not actual humans are interacting with the emails that you send out. So when you have a lot of people that aren't clicking on your emails because they're completely unengaged or the profiles are actually inactive, this ends up hurting your deliverability, and you're more likely to go to the spam and promotions tabs, which you are trying to stay out of. So this is kind of a 2-for-1, but what you're going to do is create these 2 similar segments. So the first is actually going to be an unengaged segment, and it looks like this. So we usually do a 1-year unengaged because if they haven't interacted with your brand in a year, odds are they're not coming back. So the definition of this segment are received email at least 10 times over all time. You can also adjust this depending on how frequently you send emails, but they have opened an email 0 times in the last year. They have clicked an email 0 times in the last year, and they are not suppressed for email. So that's the first one that you're going to make to kind of solo out these unengaged subscribers so you can then remove them from your list. The other segment that you're going to create along with the unengaged segment is actually the bounced segment. So the bounced segment, unlike the unengaged, is actually profiles that just are dead and they don't work anymore. So if you send an email to an account that is inactive, what's going to happen is this email is going to bounce. So it will either soft bounce, which means that, hey, this is potentially a dead profile, but there could be a couple other reasons why this bounced. And then there is the hard bounce, which is basically a guarantee that this email profile you're sending to is completely inactive and completely dead. So you're going to prepare for both of these situations by creating this segment. The definition will be bounced email is at least 4 over all time where the bounce type equals soft, or bounce email is at least 1 over all time where the bounce type equals hard. So if it hard bounces once, we're going to put them in this segment and we're going to get rid of them. And if it soft bounces 4 times, we're going to do the same. So set both of these up, and then once you have filled out these segments dynamically, what you can actually do is export these profiles as a CSV and just suppress them so that 1, you can improve your deliverability since you're not sending to people that aren't going to open your emails, and 2, it'll actually save you money because you're no longer paying for profiles that are actually dead. Moving on to segment 5, we have what we call the past purchasers segment. And this is exactly what it sounds like. So these are people who have purchased in the past. And the reason we want to send to them using different language is because people who have purchased in the past are automatically more likely to purchase again if you can target them in the right place at the right time. So what you want to do is actually segment these people by what they've purchased, when they purchased it, and based on how many times they purchased in the past. So again, this can have some variety if you want to include specific products that they purchased, but generally what we're going to do is set something up like this. So it would be what someone has or has not done, and that they have placed an order at least once between a specific date. And then you can also add another filter that's going to be they placed an order at least once where product equals this between certain dates. And you can create multiple filters of this so that you can list multiple products that they purchased in the past. And this way you can know who the people are that have purchased, you can know what they purchased, and you can know what to retarget them with when you, 1, think that the product that they used is maybe gone, if it is a perishable, or 2, if you think that you can target them with a related item. If you're not selling perishables, this is also a great way to re-engage people and get them to come back and be repeat buyers. So make sure that you have this segment set up, past purchasers, so you can talk to people who have purchased differently than people who have not. For the 6th and final core segment that I'm going to show you guys, we have an interesting one because we actually recently used this segment to generate $47,000 for a client of ours in the food and beverage niche. And we did so by just sending 3 unique emails to this specific segment. So, come on, dude. For the 6th and final core segment that I'm going to show you guys, we have a very interesting one because this is one that a lot of people are actually missing in our experience. And this is a segment that we recently used to generate $47,000 in revenue for a brand that we're working with in the food and beverage niche. And we did so just by sending 3 unique emails to this segment. So here's how it's set up. Basically, window shoppers are the people on your list who are the most likely to buy. The reason for this is that they've clicked on your emails, been active on your website, and viewed your products several times in a recent period of time. So when you have this group of people, all they're going to eventually need is a specific email to push them over the edge into purchasing. So the way that we actually set this up is this potential purchasers or window shoppers segment with this definition. So it is going to be people who have viewed your product at least twice in the last 30 days, or they've been active on site at least twice in the last 30 days, or they've clicked an email at least twice in the last 30 days. When you use these definitions, you build a segment of people who are really interested in your brand because they've been very active with your brand. They've been looking at your website. They've been active on your site, looking at your products, opening your emails. So we can assume that these people are the most likely to buy on your email list. And this has been the case in our experience, like I said, generating $47,000 in 3 emails for a client of ours. So this is a segment that a lot of people sleep on and don't set up. Make sure you're not one of those people because it has proven to be one of the most lucrative segments that we actually have. So make sure that you have this one set up as well. So those are the 6 core segments that you need to set up for your email list. and the main 6 segments that are going to generate, 80 to 90% of your results. And now that we've gone over that, I know we said that there's no need to get more complicated with the segmentation, but now that you know the 6 core segments and we have that out of the way, I actually do want to give you a few examples of where the other, 10 to 20% of results will come from, so that you can have some inspiration to get a little bit creative in your segmentation after you have the core segments built out. So the way that we get hyper specific with segmentation is knowing your brand really well, right? So you can't get specific unless you deeply understand your audience. But email service providers like Klaviyo do let you get extremely granular on the type of customer that you have on your list. So for example, you can actually create segments based on things like gender, geography, geographical location, behavior, and more. So a couple examples of hyper specific segments that we have used to send specific campaigns to are something like a Mother's Day gifting sale. So if you have Mother's Day going on and you want to target, like husbands and sons and people that would give gifts to their mother on Mother's Day, you could send to a mail segment. Or if you have an email that's mentioning the weather in a specific location, you could use the geographical segment and put in things like zip codes and different cities that you want this email specifically to go to. Another example of a geographical location segment would be if you're giving away tickets to an event in a certain city, you'd only want to send to that city. So those are 2. Another could be a girls' night out email for your female segment. So you can get very specific and granular within your segmentation, and the possibilities are honestly endless if you understand your audience well enough. But what I need to let you know is that all you have to do is set up these 6 segments that we went over, and you are going to see great success within your email strategy. So yeah, guys, those are the only 6 segments that you need to set up on your email list to start sending high converting campaigns to the right people and actually have your backend built out with the proper segmentation. So I'm actually going to give you this full document as a link in the description so that you can go and look at these definitions when you're setting up these segments for your brand. And if you are an e-com brand who has gotten this far to segmentation, but you are not exactly sure which campaigns you should be running, how your flows and automations should be built out in your back end, and how to honestly get the most revenue out of your email strategy as a whole, then what I'm going to do is leave a link in the description to my website. You can go there, you can book a call, and we could actually build out a personal strategy for your e-com brand in how you could get started generating more revenue with your retention strategy, email, and SMS. So if you're looking for help in that area, go down in the description, go to the website, book a call, and we would be happy to, come up with a tailored strategy for your specific e-com brand. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you for watching.